how to set up your controller for Sigma in Overwatch 2. Hey, so if you haven't seen my previous video on how to set up your Pro Controller for other heroes like Lucio or Mercy, I highly recommend you check that out first. And whether you're playing on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch, feel free to use this button equivalence guide for your convenience. A photo of this is available to view in the description section down below. With that in mind, I'll be showing you various different setups on custom remapping your Pro or non-Pro controller based on your own playstyle and preferred hero. For this video, we'll be discussing the gravity-defying astrophysicist, Sigma.
What is that melody?
Sigma is one hero that's hard to ignore. More used as a poke hero, Sigma can pick off squishies all while still staying within line of sight of his own supports. Sigma is the kind of tank that can instantly create space using his floating barrier, most effectively used to isolate an enemy tank from its own healers. And as a barrier-based tank hero, Sigma can provide damage mitigation, burst damage, line of sight disruption, and area control. Although, having such a huge presence in the battlefield comes with its own positives and negatives. For one, Sigma isn't much of a mobile hero, and if his damage mitigation skills are both on cooldown, he won't pose much of a problem. Therefore, you will need to manage your skills accordingly. To help you achieve this, you'll want a custom button layout that will allow you to have quick access to all your abilities, all while still being able to make use of their corresponding sub-actions as well. First up, we have the standard layout. If you're the type who likes to swap heroes more often than not, then you may want to just stick to the default layout. But since this is still a hero shooter overall, you will need to adjust the sensitivity settings according to your own preference. First, open the menu and select Options. Press R3 and select Sigma. Now that you have Sigma on screen, click Advanced and feel free to copy sensitivity and aim assist settings on screen. But you may decide to change these settings to whatever you're most comfortable with, based on your own playstyle. Though, if you notice, I've actually bumped up my sensitivity quite a bit. This is because I recently purchased those foam control rings that you wrap around your analog sticks, such as the Control Freak Precision Rings. While it took some getting used to, I'm now able to make even faster turns with a higher aim sensitivity, but still be able to aim slowly and accurately whenever I want, due to the added friction which the foam rings provide. Now as for the Pro Controller, like the DualSense Edge, you can set the X button to the left back button, or LB, and then the circle button to the right back button, or RB. Feel free to swap these two if you wish. For a non-Pro controller, we have the elevation layout. While Sigma may have a wide array of skills to use, one aspect of his kit that seems to be lacking is mobility. He does float though, so that's kind of a positive, and jumping at certain intervals can still deter those high damage headshots in some small capacity. But where Sigma can really utilize the jump button is when using his ult, since this allows him to increase his elevation, and with a higher elevation, you're less likely to get hit or draw attention. On the controls panel for Sigma, scroll down to the movement section and remap jump to L2. Then on the weapons and abilities section, remap ability 1 or kinetic grasp to the X button. Then interact to the right D-pad. And then secondary fire or experimental barrier to the L1 button. Now head over to the communication tab and scroll down to ping and world. Remap this to the L3 button. While kinetic grasp is important, it's also just a single press button skill that doesn't really require complete aim accuracy to be effective. And with ping and world, tap to your L3 button, tagging enemies and communicating with your teammates can easily be done in the thick of battle. Now for the Communicator layout, this is a Pro Controller layout where the back buttons are used exclusively for the ping system. This can be extremely important, especially if you would rather have the default settings for interact on the L3 button and ping and world on the left D-pad. On your Pro Controller, remap the down D-pad to the left back button and then the left D-pad to the right back button. This ensures that you'll be able to communicate effectively without having to stop in place just to press the D-pad. Next, we have my preferred Pro Controller layout, the Living Weapon layout. Just like the name suggests, Sigma is a force to be reckoned with, and a presence that cannot be ignored in the battlefield. Therefore, a layout with complete control for Sigma is warranted. First, make sure you switch back to the default layout, then make sure your interact is mapped to the right D-pad, and then ping and world is mapped to the L3 button. Now on your Pro Controller, make sure you have both back buttons set exactly as the standard layout we discussed earlier. Not only does this provide all the benefits you get from the elevation layout, this also gives you quick access to both the jump and crouch buttons, which, during your ultimate, both serve as functions to increase or decrease your elevation respectively. There are so many ways to customize your button layouts for the Pro Controller of your choice, but these are the 4 I found most useful when playing Sigma. If you have your own preferred button layout, feel free to share it in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more of my custom layouts for other Overwatch 2 heroes, consider subscribing to my channel for future updates. GG everyone. Peace.